The Big Issue. Breaking down the issues that matter.
Hello everyone, welcome to Leadership Podcast. It's yet another edition of The Big Issue. As usual, I'm your regular host, George Agba is my name. And of course, we have our in-house analyst. In the studio with me is Silas Ezeogu. Welcome. And Chibuzo Okaibe. Thank you. Well, for the big issue of the day is the arrest of the Accountant General of the Federation and the growing spate of corruption in Nigeria's public service. Well, Philas is just reaching us now that the Accountant General of the Federation has been arrested. Have been suspended by the Minister of Finance, Hajia Zainab Ahmed. Ahmed Idris was suspended in connection with alleged diversion and money laundering activities to the tune of 80 billion naira. He was arrested by the Economic and Financial Commission and is presently in their custody over 80 billion naira fraud. A statement by EFCC said verified intelligence showed that the AGF raked off the funds through bogus consultancy and other illegal activities using proxies, family members, and close associates. The anti-graft agency further alleged that the funds were laundered through real estate investment in Kano and Abuja. EFCC said Idris was arrested after failing to honor invitation to respond to his connection to the fraudulent acts. We all know that corruption in public offices had been an age-long thing in Nigeria. And of course, it has deprived the country and the government from providing the basic amenities, including education, road infrastructures, and the rest. But Silas, this one is very, very, very surprising. The Accountant General of the Federation seems he's the head of the financial reforms under the Buhari administration. The Minister of Finance that suspended him now was the one who stated that the Accountant General of the Federation, Ahmed Idris, is the one who pretended over the financial reforms. The financial reforms in the country is domiciled in the AGF's office. Now, with the arrest of the AGF in connection with a whopping 80 billion naira, what does it make of that, the financial reform under the Buhari administration?
Well, it's a very disturbing and embarrassing situation for the government of Muhammad Buhari, especially since this often stated mantra that to fighting corruption. The very organs through which the government is supposed to check corruption are the ones being indicted. I'm not saying the man is already guilty.
He's still innocent until proven guilty.
But there's no smoke for that fire. So they have to look at everybody and pick him. And let this mind-boggling song. Many people can't get their hands head around this mind-boggling song. 50 billion. And this is somebody that's supposed to be, like you said, the Minister of Finance said, the financial reforms.
Yes.
Through financial reforms, you can also
supposed to be the chief accounting officer of the country.
We should make sure that the country's money is well accounted for and not missing. And not him, this kind of money is said to have been treated away, whatever the FCC has brought about everything. It's not broken, and it should be a reality check on this administration. It appears that what he's saying that he wants to do is not speculating to down the system. It's on the surface. I can't forget the issue of Mago. We also seen accused of certain financial interactions in his trial, and I was panel set up to to, to kind of probe him, and that report has not come out since then. Right now, he has been promoted. He has not been cleared of all those allegations to the public knowledge, and he has been promoted to AIG.
To AIG. Nothing has been heard about his
He has
prosecution.
not been freed, he has not been exonerated, yet he has been promoted. So that's why a lot of people are always wondering whether actually this government is actually fighting corruption the way it is saying so. So this one is just one of those pointers that are pointed to that.
Chibuzo, the arrest of the AGF over the 80 billion naira fund raises serious questions about the anti-graft war of the Buhari administration. Can we really say this government is fighting corruption?
Well, I think it's like Mr. Silas said, really embarrassing for the government. But I think that one wouldn't have imagined a lot of things that could have happened under this government that has happened so far. So at this stage, we are at a position where we look out for the next one, because it does appear as if things that hitherto wouldn't have been thought of as could happen in a government like this under Buhari's government appears to be happening. It's embarrassing, it's shameful, it's cause for a lot of concern. And we can only hope that this does not go the way of, like Mr. Sanders did point out, the way of the EFCC does, where at some point it just fizzles away, particularly as we approach an election season. You know, a lot of things are going to be swamped by the election.
And the only thing we hear all of a sudden he has been promoted to AIG.
So we just hope that the government does something to really prove that it does not condone this kind of embarrassing behavior on that side.
Thank you very much, Chibuzo. Let's just quickly take a short break, hoping that our viewers will contribute constructively to the conversation on the big issue. Don't go offline, we'll be back in a short while.
For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.
The Big Issue. Breaking down the issues that matter.
Welcome back. We are still on Big Issue in Leadership Podcast. And of course, the big issue of the day is the arrest of the Accountant General of the Federation and the growing spate of corruption in public service. The AGF has just been suspended by the Minister of Finance. And of course, it is in connection with the alleged diversion of 80 billion naira and money laundering activities linked to him. Silas, we have just seen. I think one issue we should look at here critically. When we talk of corruption, one will begin to wonder who among them is most corrupt, between politicians and civil servants. When we talk of politicians being corrupt, we now hear of civil servants being corrupt. And of course, you know that civil servants are always there permanently, while politicians are just like soldiers. Say soldier gone, soldier go, barracks remain. Now, most Nigerians are asking, who should they even look at and say these are the real cause of corruption between politicians and civil servants?
That's a tough question to answer. There's no record. We can only infer from what we are seeing in the public space. Okay, but you know, politicians cannot steal money without civil servants colluding with them. They know all the systems, they know all the strategy, they keep the books. So politicians cannot take any money from the system if they are not collaborating in cahoots with the civil servant, the director, the pump sites, the counter generals, and all this one. They're the ones that even the patient who don't know how to go about it, this will teach him how to use the money well. So um, they're all involved. Eh, If politicians are also um, want to keep a clean record, they can introduce things in the system that will make it difficult for citizens to steal money. And if the politician is interested in stealing money, they leave the system open for even the citizens to take. Because it is the civil servants that will expose him when he's gone. So what some of them may do is to allow everybody to have access to the till so that everybody can be happy and go home. All those petitions that come from it's not outsiders, it's not public sector, it's not it is people from the system, the service, public system that will do that petition. But the fact where money has been used, where contracts are inflated, where money, it's still them that will prepare the document and send to EFCC. You understand?
I understand.
So they are involved. Two of them are involved, but you cannot associate in stealing money without civil servants. You can't do that. It's them that process all the papers.
Well, somebody had said the idea of corruption in public service or anywhere of this kind is not just about becoming a civil servant or a politician. It's just like what the British Prime Minister once said about Nigeria when Buhari visited that country for, I've forgotten the program he went for in London. And then I think it was that they overheard the Prime Minister of Britain talking to someone else and was whispering to him that you see that in the country it's a fantastically corrupt country. And then when Ghana must go now made it as a cartoon. Ghana must go now. Say, when they say Nigeria is something fantastically corrupt, they wrote President Buhari standing there looking at was it Ghana must go? No, it was a cartoon. The scene in leadership. Buhari stood full his hand and was looking at the gossip. And then he mumbled something in Hausa, something to Ranchi. Interpreted in English, I just be there, be talking grammar. You know, English. Or that one is English you are talking. You see, corruption in Nigeria is embedded everywhere, according to a recent discussion I had. In every sphere of life, even in the private sector, look at even this fuel scarcity. Go to the filling station, go and try to buy fuel. After filling your tank and you bring your gallon and so I put this one for me for my generator. The fuel attendant will tell you that Oga, they don't allow us to sell jerry can. Then you now ask the next person that just left here with jerry can, you gave him fuel. Now why is it my own now that you're not telling me that there's an instruction that you shouldn't sell? Then somebody now to say, come, bro, that person that just left gave him 500 as a tip for him to go ahead. You see where corruption starts in the country. At the end of the day, even in the household too, there's corruption. Because if your wife tells you money for cooking and how much it is, it's something that's supposed to be 8,000 for sugar and now and
I ain't saying that.
inflate it to 5,000. It's corruption.
I said the EFCC should come and prove households.
No,
We
we are
know how
not.
much corruption is
No,
happening.
we are in this case. We are looking at the roots of corruption in Nigeria. Chibuzo. At the end of the day,
I think maybe I think you see when the government says key corruption or corruption will kill Nigeria, they're saying the opposite, but they're not working their jobs. I'm even bothered about how the system is so porous for this man to be able to carry out this act over the time he did it.
Unnoticed.
Remember that this man was supposed to have retired last year or 2 years ago.
Yes.
And the president, in his wisdom, maybe from good advice from his acolytes, they advised him honestly, or maybe that be
Honestly,
no,
because they are accomplices
yes.
to this
So
very
if the man
particular
had if the man
this
had
particular
kind of built that
allegation,
farm,
although it's not founded
they
there.
can do it. This guy is doing a fantastic job. Give man that. So he has worked for 5 years. He has reached the age of retirement. And instead of getting somebody else, and they just extended to say,
So let him
this man even had one other
the good
scandal,
work he's doing.
scandal around him. Was it also the person that married a CEO person at the age of 60? You know the same man?
Yeah.
So I don't know the kind of essence service that he has rendered that they want to retain him after this, after the compulsory retirement of 60 years and the 5 years of service, you know. But the fact that the system is so porous to the point that they can take this much out, allegedly, even if even if you're able to take half of it, that's still a humongous sum. Someone was saying, somewhere that is there's a budget of one state, Nigeria was just both internal generated, was it a police state or Benue state of 5 million people or more. The internal generated those Benue is about 12 million, and the budget is
12
about
million.
Yeah, 12 billion.
Billion.
Billion, yes.
Okay, I thought you say million.
And their third income is about, and their budget is and the other the one they get from Federation account that will come to about 48 billion or something. So more or less you have up to for 7 billion. So the projected earning for a year was 60 billion in 2020. And that's what one person allegedly took something more
80 billion.
took more than a whole state can hope to get
Even the
in the whole
governing
year.
party in the country could not even realize up to that amount in their sale of funds. I think what did we are talking about 29 billion naira in the sale of funds. One person.
So
Using it to invest in real estate.
The good thing, the thing that we should be looking at is it was not earlier this year that SC reported 2 civil servants who they caught.
How many houses? 300 and something houses.
351
houses. 2 persons alone.
Yes.
One of them has almost 300.
Yes.
290 something. So one person. They didn't mention their names. Okay. But can you quantify how much that thing is worth in terms of 80 billion? By the time I quantify that one, he said that it could be bigger
than even the 80 billion we're talking about.
This one has 200 houses. Almost 300 houses.
In strategic places where lands are very expensive. You know
by
how much the cost of the land.
By the time you cost it, you find out that it may even be more than this.
80
billion. So, how can they do that in a government that's fighting corruption? How do they pass through all the checks to do it and get to the point that they can take that much out and you don't start pursuing them afterwards? So, I think that the government, if it's really wants, I don't know who believes that the government is. Maybe they are fighting corruption, but many people believe they are not fighting it the correct way. If they cannot stop this kind of people from happening, then they are not starting the fight.
I agree with you, Silas, because when you talk of fighting corruption, we are not saying that you stop the corruption by going into the minds of the public servants and then stop them from engaging in corrupt activities. I think where it lies is to blocking those loopholes, blocking those channels where monies are being looted. So now, the question is, Chibuzo, what can the government do to prevent corruption? It's not only when someone is in possession of the kind of amount we are hearing, 80 billion naira, that you now say you get him arrested and say you are fighting corruption. How can we prevent the loopholes where monies are being looted? There are other government officials who may have been looting this money, but just because their own bubble is not burst yet, so they are just there getting away with it.
Well, I am, first of all, make a disclaimer. I am not an anti-corruption expert. I wouldn't pretend to be one. But I think it is it's a basic case of when the fish of the head. They say that the fish gets rotten from the head. When the leader, appears not to be firm in taking actions on certain things, it emboldens, those who want to exploit whatever loopholes there are to do so. Now, I say this because this is not the first time you've had, and I'm not sure this happened overnight. It probably took some time to execute or to make all of these diversions. And I can almost assume that he didn't just do it alone. There are probably people high up there too who would have allowed these funny things happen, because such diversions and all wouldn't just go unnoticed. There will be flags along the way and on how these things were done. So how come this was not spotted sooner? So this raises a lot of questions as to the whole process of checks and balances on the one hand, and our proactiveness in the approach to fighting corruption. Over the time, we seem to be fighting corruption in a reactive way rather than a proactive way. And perhaps that was why the idea of the TSA came up, the single thing, I've forgotten to ensure that before any transaction is done, it's so one, is that process still on?
They just in the account.
Yes. Is it still
Even the whistleblower,
the whistleblower policy and the rest.
Exactly.
There's nothing about it.
whistleblower thing?
I think the last thing we heard of whistleblower was that somebody blew the whistle when it was time for him to be paid for blowing whistle.
Nothing came.
Wahala came. They refused to pay him money.
Exactly.
But the whistle blowing.
and I was chicken out. Blowing whistle has personal risk.
Honestly,
If you're not getting out of it, you may
you might end up finishing your life.
Become the victim.
When I tell you, Chibuzo, I think that is the idea. In a country like Nigeria that has constantly been rated as one of the most corrupt countries in the world, the approach to fighting corruption must be proactiveness, yes, than reactiveness. Thank you for keeping tab with us. This is where we draw the curtain for the big issue of the day. And of course, I will not fail to thank our in-house analysts for addressing the big issue accordingly. Join us same time tomorrow for another edition of this program. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.